Hi, this is JC4444, and making a video today on do's and don'ts for knives. Um, got several different knives here that I'm going to kind of take a look at, and different styles of knives. Um, just wanted to do this because I hear a lot of people on YouTube that basically seem to talk about the knives uh, that they promote the knives that they're given by sponsors and things like that uh, for free. Um, all the knives that I've got are knives that I've purchased myself, and um, some of them good, some of them bad, and that's kind of what we're doing here today. Is you know talking about different knives and their usefulness and their I guess if you will theory and design or their uh, maybe what they may or may not be good for. So anyway, with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna move this here so you can see a little bit here. I've got some different knives laid out. Um, First of all, as you can see, I've got many different knives. Um, this one right here, I was in a pawn shop the other day, and I was really just I kind of wanted to try this type or this style out. I knew what it was when I bought it. Um, there was a young kid in there, probably 20, 21 years old, and he was trying to sell it to the guy at the pawn shop, and the guy at the pawn shop turned him down, and so I spoke up and I said, "How much do you want for it?" And the kid said $5, and I said, "I'll take it." Then of course the guy at the pawn shop says, "Well, I think I deserve $2 for you doing business in my store." And so I told the kid, I said, "I'll meet you outside in 5 minutes." Anyway, I wasn't about to give that guy $2. This is just the only thing good really about this knife is the fact that it's got some cordage on it that would come in handy in a survival situation. The design itself isn't bad. Um, and then the sheath, I may or may not be able to use that for a better knife down the road, but pay particular attention here. You can see there maybe you can see it. Anyway, right there it says China. And generally speaking, anything that's made in China, you're better off just to really do your best to stay away from it. Not to say that there's not some decent knives that come from China. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But for the most part, most of the knives that you'll get that are made in China are not made with U.S. steel, and therefore they just don't have uh, the qualities that a knife made in the U.S. would have. So with that, let's move on to the next item on my list here. Here's I really like this knife for some reason. I'm not really sure why. You can call it a neck knife if you want, because you could put a lanyard on there and hang it around your neck. You could wrap a lot of cordage around here, paracord, whatever. And then it's also got a removable belt clip. And actually, this belt clip has been very sturdy. I've carried this knife with me quite a bit over the years. And it's very useful. It's called the CRKT Bear Claw. It's made by CRKT. I believe this one actually was made in Taiwan, but it was also probably made to Bear Claw's standards, which really aren't too bad. But as you can see, it has the serrated blade, and then I have the tip was perfectly rounded, and when I got it, I went ahead and kind of sharpened that up a little bit. Um, you know, just for my own practical purposes. But I really like the design of the knife. It's got a nice little Derringer size handle. It's I don't think this is a G10 handle, but it's a hard plastic. It's been bead blasted. It's got a really pretty good grip on it, especially when you use your finger through the hole there. You can get a firm, good grip on it. And I'm going to tell you, this thing can slice through rope like butter. Be very good in many different outdoor situations. So anyway, that's that. Moving right along, and oh, by the way, this is a Zytec or Zytel um, sheath, and the knife, as you can see, has a little screw there, and it snaps right in, and it just stays in there, and it's not coming out unless you really pull it out. So you're not going to lose it out in the field, which is a very good thing. Next one on the agenda, let's see, I'll talk about this one here. This is a Condor. I just bought this off of Amazon for $35. It comes with a sheath, and it's a good quality knife. It's the let's see, Bush I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, this is a Condor. It's made in El Salvador, but the company is based in Germany, and Germany is known to put out some pretty good knives, such as with Boker and a few other brands like that. Very good steel, very good craftsmanship and workmanship, as you can see. Now I will tell you up front, I bought this off of Amazon for about $35, and when I got it, you really probably can't see it too well, but the tip right there is just barely rolled. And so I contacted Amazon. They were very good about offering to exchange or refund my money. So I chose to do an exchange, and hopefully the next one is in perfect condition. Got a really nice walnut handle. This is high carbon steel, bead blasted, walnut handle with a pretty nice hole here for a lanyard or whatever you want to use it for. I have to say, it's got a good fit tight, or good tight fit in the sheath, and it fits snug in there, but I have my doubts about whether or not I would really want to use this kind of a sheath in an outdoor situation, where I was going to be spending very much time outdoors. I'd just be afraid the knife would come out fairly easily, even though it is fairly hard to pull it out, as you can tell. It's a little bit of a struggle, but I figure once you've used it for a while, then it may get to the point where it loosens up. But anyway, there's a good look at the knife, and it is a good quality knife. So anyway, $35 on Amazon. So definitely worth thinking about. Definitely a good workmanship, good quality knife. I think unfortunately it just maybe got dropped on the tip or on the point, and somebody didn't catch it when they did their final inspection process. Okay, so get that one out of the way. We'll move on to the next one. Let's talk about this here. This is an HK knife made for HK by Benchmade. Um, it's to me, it's one of the best knives on the market. It's called a Nitrous. It's got the G10 scales on it. Got a very good, nice grip to it, and it's got the assisted open, so it just doesn't take much to open it up. Closes very easy. I carry this every single day. It comes with a pocket clip on it. This is about the second or third one of these that I've had. The first one that I had, first one I had was a Tanto style blade, and the threads on the scales basically let the screws pull out, and the threads went bad, and I probably could have sent it back to Benchmade and they probably would have fixed it, but I ended up just repairing it the best I could with some Loctite, and ended up selling it to a buddy of mine. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Benchmade, and I won't lie. And I'm not getting paid by them to say that. It's just very good craftsmanship, very good steel. Benchmade knife will hold the edge for a long time. The factory edge is awesome. I mean, you can shave with this. It is made out of 154 cm, and it is made here in the USA. I promise you, if you buy one of these, you won't be let down unless you're looking to whittle or something like that. This is more of a tactical pocket knife, but it can do everything that any other pocket knife can do for the most part. I do wish that I had gotten the one with the serrated lower blade that was serrated down on this end, but I did not. You know, but I still don't regret buying the knife, and I may go out and buy one someday that does have the serration on it. The one that I had previously, the HK Tanto blade, did have the serrated edges on it. Pocket clip's very good. It's got a hole here for a lanyard. You can buy a tool kit to adjust the screws. To take the screws out for the scales. You know, it's just, for the money, it's a really good knife. I can tell you right now, this knife on eBay, brand new, would run you somewhere in between $175 and $210 to $220 for this knife right here, unused, brand new. I bought this brand new off of Amazon for $92, I think, something like that. Came with all the original paperwork, the box, everything. I will tell you, be very careful with Benchmade. My only problem with them is their high-end knives are made here in the USA, and they come with a high-end price tag, and I don't have a problem with that. But all their lower-end knives are made in, I believe, China, and so make sure and look at the box when you buy one. Make sure and look at the details, the country of origin, if you will. They may use, the same steel that they use here in the U.S. when they make them over in China. They may use the same craftsmanship, but I'd much prefer to pay the extra money and have one made in the USA. So anyway, final word on this: it's just a good overall knife, pocket knife, good for everyday carry. It's not overly heavy, but it's not super light. Another thing I really like about it is it's very thin. If you look at this knife compared to even a case pocket knife, you're going to see that the case is just a little bit thicker. You go to something like a Victorinox Swiss Army knife, you're going to see obviously that it's a lot thicker. Anyway, it fits in your pocket quite nice. Just a good all-around knife. So that's enough on that one. Let's move on. Um, Granted, this is not a knife per se, but um, again, here's another HK product. Um, this is a pretty fine piece. It's very sturdy, spring-loaded. It's got wire snips on it. I don't know if you want to call it needle nose, but that's pretty much what it is, needle nose. It's got several tools on it. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I can kind of show you. It's got a what I would call like a skinner hook. It's got a serrated blade. That's blade is serrated from top to bottom. It has a can opener, bottle opener. Very nice. It also has, if I can get it open here, a square socket type end, and that's for all this. You know, it comes with all the little different sockets. So it does have some actual tool functionality to it. There's screwdrivers here. There's Allen heads. There's one socket, different size Phillips, different size standard. So that's kind of handy. And we'll flip it around and go to the other side. On the other side, it has just a nice little file. Pretty decent. I've actually used it. It's got a 2-inch ruler on the other side. It has a standard type screwdriver. It has a small screwdriver, and then it has a standard knife. So even though this isn't what I would consider a knife, it's a multi-tool, and it doesn't really compare to a knife, but yet it has a lot more functionality than a regular knife. So I think, you know, everybody should carry one of these for their everyday carry. Like I said, you can't go wrong with this one. I believe I bought this on Amazon. Again, as you can tell, I'm not trying to advertise for Amazon, but I do think you can get some good deals. I used to use eBay for a lot of my purchases till I got burnt a few times, and I've sold a lot of stuff on eBay, and it just seemed like they kept raising their prices, raising their fees, trying to tell you what you could sell and what you couldn't sell, and I got tired of it, so I started using Amazon. I don't sell on Amazon. I just buy products off of Amazon. Okay, so enough of that one. Let's move on. Oh, by the way, it does have a sheath. Fairly nice little sheath. You know, go nice in your fits nice in your go bag. You can strap it onto your MOLLE bag, or you can put it on your belt loop or belt, whatever you want to do. You know, it's pretty good looking sheath. Enough of that one. Let's move on again. We've already covered that one. Let's just go with some regular pocket knives here. Here I've got this is an old case pocket knife, and it does have some corrosion on it. But I'll tell you what, this is high carbon steel, high carbon chrome, and it takes a long time to put an edge on this. These particular knives, you can always tell them by the yellow scales. Whenever you see a case or a Schrade with the yellow scales on it, that's your hardened high carbon chrome steel, and they'll hold an edge forever. You know, doesn't take much to sharpen. Well, it does take quite a bit to sharpen them up, but once you get them sharp, they'll stay sharp forever. This knife, it's just a good, knife to have with you on a camping trip. If you want to do some whittling or make a whistle out of wood or whatever, you can do that. It's pretty nice, decent. Another decent pocket knife, I think, for the money, and I know there's a lot of knockoffs. If you get a knockoff, you're getting what you pay for. But the Swiss do a really good job on the Victorinox and the Swiss Army knives. This one here is actually a locking blade. Has a nice locking mechanism right there. Pretty sturdy. You got that. It's got, if I can get them out here, a pair of scissors. It's got bottle opener and a flathead screwdriver in one. It's got a bottle opener and another bigger screwdriver here. Actually, I apologize. I believe this end is more of a can opener. And then you've got your regular, like I said, your knife blade. And then it has a, if I can get it out here, it has a sawtooth blade on it. That's nice to have for trimming branches down for your fire, things like that. So as you can see, it has many functions. Nice little, spot for your lanyard to go. It's got a corkscrew for your bottle of wine in case you need a bottle of wine. And then it also has, which this is the part that I really like because it's hard to find on anything except for Victorinox. A lot of knives don't have the awl or a sewing awl. You can thread it and use this to sew heavy material with, like maybe a leather or a heavy cloth. You can actually use this to sew. You can use this to hog out material, like if you're wanting to make a hole in something, a small hole, then your awl is pretty good for that. Very useful. All around, I would give this knife a pretty good review. As I said, they're just a good tool to have. Swiss Army, they're known for their quality, workmanship. They don't hold the best edge, but just the design, the usability is pretty neat to have. You got a little toothpick there, which I have no idea why anybody would really need that. Got a little pair of tweezers, and again, I really don't know much why anybody would need that. You can get these knives with everything from a magnifying glass, flashlight, to everything else. I mean, it just depends on how much money you want to spend. I traded this knife for a couple boxes of 50 rounds long rifle 22 shells. So I think that was a pretty decent deal. About $12 worth of bullets for probably a $40 or $50 knife. Next one I'm going to review is this. It's a Benchmade Nimravus, or as some people say, Nimravus. As you can see, it's got the Benchmade butterfly logo on it. This is really just an awesome knife, and I mean, I can't say that enough. It's awesome. I love carrying this knife with me. Just probably the best all-around knife I've ever had in my life. I really like my Benchmade folder, but this thing it's like carrying a gun on you. Just the feeling that it gives you. You can use this for many different things. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a bushman's knife, bushcraft knife. It's this is a tactical knife. It's a hunting knife. pretty much everything you need in a knife. If you're a climber, if you're a camper, if you're a scuba diver, you know, you could use this for a lot of different things. If you're a prepper or a survivalist, it's a perfect knife. I believe the overall length is about 9.5 inches. I'll do a full review on this here in a couple days, and give you all the details on this. Again, I believe it's 1054 cm is the metal material. As you can tell, it's got a hole for a lanyard. I've made a lanyard to go with it. Nice little hole there. It has aluminum scales on it, and they are removable. You could change these out and put wooden scales on it. In fact, I think you can buy this knife with wooden scales already on it. But it's, you know, it's got a nice spot there for your finger, and you can get a really good grip on that thing. And it goes in the sheath very well. On the inside of the sheath, there's Kydex, and it's pretty good and form-fitting. It's designed for a MOLLE bag. It's also got a Velcro type loop on here for your belt. Buckles in real nice, so it's secure. It's not going anywhere. It's got more holes down here for another leg tie or a lanyard. And then it's got a drain hole here for moisture. Just a good all-around knife. This is made in the USA. I bought this off of a Army Afghan war vet. He actually used it in the field while in Afghanistan and Iraq. So I kind of carry this knife with a little bit of pride because it's got a little bit of history to it. I have no idea if it's ever been really put to use in a knife fight, or any type of a battle, but it's definitely been carried on the battlefield. You know, I've had it for probably a month now, and I've gotten a lot of good use out of it. Just got a razor sharp edge on it. And again, you know, people are gonna bash the serration, and I'm telling you, I prefer a knife with serration, because one of the most frequent jobs that you're going to do out in the woods, out at the campsite, in a survival situation, in a prepper situation, shit hits the fan, WROL, you're going to cut rope. You're going to cut paracord. You're going to cut a lot of different stuff. And this serration will slice through it like butter. I mean, just imagine grabbing a rope and slicing through this, you know. Yeah, you can slice through it with the straight part of the blade, but to guarantee you can slice through it faster with the serration. Serrated edges have a lot of good points. A lot of people bash it, but I love it. So I'm a staunch supporter of a serrated edge. Again, that's about all I'm going to say about that knife. Really good sheath overall. You know, you buy this knife brand new, you're going to pay upwards of somewhere in between $150 to $200, $210. The guy that I bought it from, he said he originally paid $150 for it, and I bought it off of him for $90. Even though it's used, it's definitely worth $90. So it can't be said enough how I feel about Benchmade knives. Again, this is made in the USA. It is what it is. It's a real good knife for the money. So along that lines, that leads me to my last knife that I'll talk about. This is a Gerber, and this knife was actually made in China, and this is one of the knives that I will say is a good knife, that it was actually made in China. And again, it's a Tanto blade, serration, aluminum scales, and you got a nice hole for your lanyard. And again, the same situation with the sheath. Um, it's got a leg strap um, with a clip on it. It's adjustable, so you can make it to your size. It's also got the back for a MOLLE bag, MOLLE pack. I like this knife because when you stick it into the sheath, again, there's plastic inside here, inside the sheath, or Tyvek. It's going to stay in there really well. One thing I like about this knife is you can kind of pull that lip up right there, and it covers the top, so it keeps it a little bit more secure. I like that. But anyway, one thing I wanted to point out, you look at this knife, and then you compare it to the Benchmade MRAVIS. And by the way, this is called a Gerber Warrant. Anyway, both these knives are black, bead blasted, pretty similar in design. They both have aluminum scales that are removable. They both have a spot for a lanyard and a very similar type of sheath. And to be quite honest, they're both made in Oregon. Well, Gerber, this particular knife was made in China, but Gerber, I believe their headquarters is in Oregon. And I believe, in fact, I'm 99% sure, headquarters for Benchmade are in Oregon as well. And I keep wondering if maybe there's some sort of joint venture with Benchmade and Gerber. It's hard to tell, but I still prefer the Benchmade over the Gerber. But I will tell you, this knife, brand new, Benchmade, $150. This knife, brand new, Amazon, I believe I paid $36 for that knife. 32 maybe, something like that. I added the lanyard to both of them myself. But so the question is, and I'll have to say, it's got a good edge on it, very sharp, nice serration, good overall knife. I'll get some use out of this. Same thing with this one right here. It's a good overall knife, very sharp, good serration, good usability. So in the end, you just got to ask yourself the question, do I want to spend $30 or do I want to spend $150 or $90 used? Or, those are just questions that only you can answer. So that's, that's where I stand on all these knives. I like to have a good collection of knives. I like to be able to give them out as gifts. I like to be able to use them and switch around, and I like to have a different knife in every one of my packs. And again, I like to carry my HK Benchmade with me pretty much everywhere I go. And if I'm going camping or anything like that, I like carrying this with me because I know I'm going to be cutting some rope, and I don't care who I piss off. It's really good to have a rope cutter. You're going to use a lot of rope when you're camping, so keep that in mind when you're thinking about serration. If you're whittling, go out and get you a little Benchmade, or if you're a bushman, go out and spend $300 or $400 on some Essie or a big fancy knife. Custom, your custom knives, you're going to pay upwards of $300 for or more. I've seen them go for, over $1,000. To me, that's just ridiculous. You can get just as good a quality in something like this here. It's not a bushman's knife per se, but a knife with an edge on it. It's a knife with an edge on it. You can use it to kill. You can use it to defend yourself. You can use it to chop a branch down. You can use it to cut a rope. Any survival situation, you need knives, and multi-use knives are awesome. Multi-tools, they're awesome, and every bag should have one. So in the end analysis, I mean, you've got a lot of good knives here. One thing I definitely don't recommend is this one here that we talked about in the beginning. This is just a cheap. It's a $5 knife. It's exactly what it is. Whether it was brand new or whether it was used, it's still just a $5 knife. The only thing good about this is the overall design. May come a time when I need some extra cordage. Got some right there. May come a time when I lose a sheath or something like that. I've got an extra sheath if I need one. So, really, that's about the only good this knife can come of this knife. Might be good for a 15-year-old kid that's just getting started on the outdoors, but really, or somebody that's going to lose it. You don't lose much out of a $5 knife. You just look at the price and you just make up your mind how much you can afford to spend, what you want to spend. You can get a really good knife for $35, or you can get a really, really good knife for $90 to $150. And I've demonstrated that pretty well in this video. This one right here, I think I originally paid like $35 or less for this, and I don't believe they still make this particular design anymore, but they did make it in a straight edge and a serrated edge. I know you can probably still get them on eBay or Amazon. It's made by CRKT. It's called a Bear Claw. So if that's something you're interested in. Swiss Army knives, we talked about that. Every pack should have one. A little whittler, every pack should have one. By the way, if you're going to get one, get a case. Maybe you can find an old Schrade or an Uncle Henry. Do not buy any new Schrade knives. If they're new, brand new, and been made within the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they're made in China. Schrade went out of business, I don't know, 8 to 10 years ago, I suppose. Their name and I believe their equipment was all purchased by a Chinese company, and the quality of their workmanship, the quality of their steel has gone to shit. Case is owned by Zippo. As you know, Zippo is an awesome, awesome, awesome company. A buddy of mine had a Zippo lighter, worked in a steel mill, and he set a hot coil of steel on his Zippo lighter by accident, and a couple days later, when we moved the coil of steel, found his lighter and it was flat as a pancake, and they replaced it with no questions asked. It didn't matter how he had broke it. They went ahead and replaced it. And I'm telling you, it's the same thing with any case knife. You get a case knife, if you break off the tip of it, no matter what you do to it, they will fix it for free. They will sharpen it for a lifetime for free. You can't get much better guarantee than that. Benchmade, I don't know how good their warranties are, as far as guarantees, how long they'll guarantee it or what they'll guarantee it against. But I do know that they have, it's called Life Sharp program, and you can send your knife back to them and they will sharpen it for you for free and send it back to you for free. So all you have to do is get it there. Anyway, this is JC44, and I'm going to sign off and go to bed. But appreciate your taking the time to watch my videos. And again, I'll be doing a review on this Condor. I'll be doing a review on this Benchmade Nimravus. I'll be doing a review on the Gerber Warrior. I'm sorry, the Gerber Warrant, and probably be doing a review fairly soon on the HK Benchmade. Um, there's a lot of things to be said about all these knives, and I can give you all the specs on them at a later date and time. So check back, subscribe, um, and give me your feedback. I'd like to hear your feedback. I know not everybody's going to agree with me on my stance on serration, on my stance on the quality of workmanship. Might even piss some people off that I talk a little bit of trash about some Chinese-made knives, but I put my knives to the test, and I just call it like I see it. So anyway, have a great one, and we'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.